How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and welcome back to another video. Today, guys, we're going to be counting down the top 5 best Fakemon designs from the community, and we're going to be doing steel types today. Now, we've done a few types before. We've done fire types, we've done dragon types, we've done dark types, we've done ice types, but we have yet to do, and actually we've done fighting types as well, but we haven't done steel types yet. So if you want to suggest any typings or any other top 5 videos you guys want to see, whether it's related to Fakemons, fusions, or anything like that, let me know down below. And if you do that, that would be really appreciated, because that way I can easily provide you guys with the things you need. Either way, today, guys, we're going to be doing a video on to top 5 best steel type designs that I have found, and I hope you guys can enjoy this. Also, make sure to check out the designers of these designs, because without them, these videos would not be possible. So check out them in the links down in the description. Either way, let's get started with number 5. Number 5. Now, first up, we got the Anchor Fish Line, created by Nachtbier Mann. Now, this, I assume, is a German designer, but this guy really made something cool here, man. So first up, we have these 3 Pokemon here. The first one is called Clankor, and is the Anchor Pokemon. Then you have Angerklang, which is the Twin Anchor Pokemon, and then Tankor, which is the Sub-Tanker Pokemon. Now, all of these are based on anchors, and it's really cool the way they're designed, because I gotta say, they look so professionally made and actually like positively real Pokemon. And when you look at them, they are based on anchors. Now, what really is weird to me is the fact that the second evolution really looks a lot similar, like really similar to the final evolution. I feel like maybe they added a third one or a third anchor, or maybe just did something more to the actual anchor in the last one, or maybe made it look, you know, even more like an anchor. Would be pretty cool. But for the second evolution here, what I think is the best is that that's the one that looks most like an anchor. The first one doesn't have the chain, so it doesn't really feel like an anchor, and it just kind of, it does have that shape of an anchor, but it doesn't have that feeling of an anchor, though the second evolution stage does have the way an anchor looks. As for all these combined, the design is just subliminal, and these are all steel and water types. So not pure steel types, but they are, of course, steel types overall, so that is just perfect. I do think these really are just creative, man. Like, it's kind of different seeing, you know, these inanimate objects turn into Pokemon, but they're really well made, so they could work even outside of being, you know, based on objects. I mean, if you looked at this, for example, the first stage evolution, I would have never thought, unless I knew its name was, you know, the anchor Pokemon, Clankor, without knowing that, I wouldn't know that this was based on an anchor. Otherwise, I would be like, just, oh, it looks like a cool fish Pokemon, man. It really does look badass. But overall, this is a great design, and Nachtbier Mann, my man, you really just outdid yourself here, man. I love this design. Let's go to number 4. Number 4. Now, coming up for, guys, we got a really cool design by Smiley Fakemon, and you gotta know just this, Smiley Fakemon is probably one of the best Fakemon designers out there. I mean, it's in his name, Smiley Fakemon, it's right there, you can already see it. But what we have here today is gonna be a Pokemon, or a Fakemon called Matara, and its species is the Rust Pokemon, and this thing is pretty interesting. So its typing is only Steel, which makes sense, because it is a rusting Pokemon. If you actually look at the design, it looks like it is just rusting, especially on the shell. It looks like it's already rusted, and you have a few patches left of its actual still like kind of iron, you know, body parts left there. But overall, this is a rusting Pokemon, and it's described like this, or this is essentially what its Pokédex entry says. And Matara live in shallow water due to their inability to swim. So essentially they live in really, really small amounts of water because they can't swim, so that's where they stay around, and that's also probably why they rust. The body is covered in rusted iron barbs, so any damage it afflicts will result in an infected wound. Matara are normally very docile creatures though, so they're a very calm kind of Pokemon, very calm Fakemon, I'd say, that really has a cool concept to it, being essentially covered in these iron barbs, you know, rusted iron barbs, which infect the enemy, so maybe poisoning them would make sense. Really does seem like a cool concept, if I may say so myself, and I do love that it's kind of just such a weird thing to go with, a Pokemon that rusts, a rusting Pokemon. It's an interesting concept, and this is why I love Smiley Fakemon, man. This guy always does some of the craziest stuff. If you want to see more of his work, there's going to be a link down below to this Pokemon. You can go into DeviantArt and check out more. This guy is an actual legend when it comes to just making Fakemon. So let's go to number 3. Number 3. Now, coming next is going to be probably one of the coolest Pokemon on this list, and it's going to be Hammerang. Now, Hammerang was created by Daniel DNA, or Deviant, I assume that's what it stands for, the DNA part. But Daniel here created one of the 6 Pokemon I've seen, man. Now, this thing is also based on an anchor of a ship, but it more looks like a hammer shark. So, Hammerang, I guess, you know, is mixing hammer shark with, you know, just, I don't know, man, with anchor, you know, rank, anchor, whatever. It's kind of mixing the 2 names into one, and I do think this is really cool. Now, this one is also under the species of anchor Pokemon, which of course makes sense. It is overall just a cool Pokemon, if I may say so myself, first of all. But here's the Pokedex entry for this Pokemon created by Daniel here. So here we go. Next entry number 1. The power of these Pokemon is a legendary amongst sailors. Their bodies are composed of rust-proof alloy that's harder than steel and heavy enough to weigh down ships. There are records of them pulling flounderous vessels to harbor. Now, the floundering vessels to harbor, that is really interesting. There also is another entry here called, or actually an entry that states some other things here. So, their powerful tails have been known to create such big holes in boats, they sink in seconds. The rage they can produce makes waves known mainly in the Bermuda Triangle, which is just a weird reference to make, but that is so cool, man. And finally, here we have Heavy SDR, they can move fast in choppy waters. That is pretty interesting. Now, it's kind of interesting with this guy. He kind of did give it abilities and whatnot. You can check that out down below. He gave it base stats and whatnot. But I think it's cool that this is a steel water type Pokemon that essentially is, you know, the devil of the sea, or, you know, your, you know, damsel in distress, whatever way you want to see it, because I assume this Pokemon could save you in a way, but also, you know, could sink your ship if it's a wild one. But overall, it's cool to have another Pokemon based on an anchor here, and then again, it is a steel water type, but it is mostly based on the steel typing part. I mean, it looks like an anchor, and its body is, you know, full on, you know, stronger than steel and whatever, so it does make sense having it as a steel type, I feel like, you know, mainly outside the water type part, which, you know, water typing makes sense having it there, because, well, at the end of the day, it's basically a shark, so it makes sense. Either way, it's going to be number 3, let's go to number 2, lads. Number 2. Now, coming into the second spot, guys, we have a design here by Random 1500, and this guy made a really interesting, just a really interesting evolution line here. Now, the main Pokemon I want to focus on here is the Pokemon at the bottom, the final evolution, known as Honord. Now, Honord is a fighting steel type, and the mainly reason I put it here is because it just looked badass. That's literally it. Its first evolutions are really cool, and you gotta see how it builds up, like, on its body parts and the things that's added to it. Kind of builds up as it, like, kind of levels up, and that's what I think is so badass about this Pokemon. It goes from this little weird, little ghost kind of looking thing that, just kind of looks almost like a Ralt in a way, but it looks really mad. It has a little stick on its back. It evolves, and it gets this, you know, it gets, you know, you can see its legs and whatnot. It gets, you know, these proper arms, so it's a bit, you know, bulkier. This armor, the helmet, so it's ready to fight. You can kind of see it on it. And its stick gets larger and more fierce. And then its final evolution, it's a full-on grown-up warrior. This thing is ready to battle. It's got 2 sticks on its backs, so it can beat the shit out of people. And it basically has this body armor that fits it so well. And as a steel type, I really think it looks cool, man. It looks like a cool-ass design, and having the body armor being made out of steel makes sense, so it, you know, it's got the strong steel armor that can protect it, but it may make it a bit, you know, slow, but it's got that fighting typing, so maybe it's fast. You can use stuff like, you know, close combat and whatnot. Would make sense, but either way, I do think it's a cool-ass design, and that's why it is on the number 2 spot. Now, let's go to the number one spot, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get right there. Number 1. And coming in at the number 1 spot, ladies and gentlemen, is another design by Smiley Fakemon, and it's called Helicree, and wow. Now, you're gonna understand why I put this on the number 1 spot in a second, but this is under the species Trap Pokemon. It's got only steel typing, and it has the abilities Hyper Cutter and Trap Trigger, which I guess it's just, you know, would make sense having something like that. Now, what this actually is, this Pokemon is just a trap. It's literally a bear trap. If you've ever seen one of these in real life, they're pretty cool. So this is based on a bear trap, and it looks more like a Pokeball. So it's pretty cool having kind of that concept of, you know, a Pokeball catches Pokemon. But this Pokemon catches other Pokemon, not for the reason you might think. It doesn't catch them to keep them around as friends or battle partners. it catches them to eat them, and that's kind of the concept of this thing, and that's what I love about it. Having a bit of a darker Pokemon like this makes sense, and also having this Pokemon out in the wild, you know, catching Pikachus and these little critters running around, you know, a little bit of Caterpie or whatever, you know, Caterpie, all these, you know, Pokemon around, catching them in this thing is just such a cool concept, man. It's a Pokemon that you wouldn't use just straight up in battle. You just kind of, you know, have it in the background. Maybe, you know, something like Team Rocket would be good to have this Pokemon on, because they would use this to catch other Pokemon. It just makes sense. Or just catch trainers, injure them, and steal their Pokemon. It may be dark, I know, but I do feel like the concept is the best one, and as a Steel-type Pokemon, it is so cool, man. So this Pokemon ends up the #1 spot because the concept is definitely the best one I've ever seen. It's genuinely such a cool concept to run with, and that's why it ends up on the spotlight. But that's going to be the end of this video, guys. If you did enjoy this, smash the like button below, and also subscribe for future videos, and check out the designers in the links down below, guys. And also feel free to suggest any other sort of top 5 videos you want to see, or other typings you want me to do on these videos, or maybe even future videos you want to see, or anything like that. Suggest all of it down in the comment section. Either way, my name has been Ruffle. I will catch you all tomorrow in our next video, or later today whenever I upload another video, and I will see you then. Bye bye.